Hello, you're here with T,
And Matthew.
And Ty.
and we are the Bing Zang Zoom podcast. Can you dig it? So, we got a lot of news today. Got to cover a lot of ground. And so, we're going to start things off with uh, an album. We normally don't get into music too much. We did in some of the earlier episodes, but I'd like to get into Uptown Baby by Rayne Storm. That's right. Big Bro has his very first album out. So go and check that out. Go get that. Some of my favorite songs off of it are Automatic, Go Off. I like the intro. Manolo, you'll just do good remembering that name. And what else? Oh, how can I forget? Yada Yada. Yeah, so make sure you go and check that out really quick. Go get that Uptown Baby by Rayne Storm.
Chefing at work in the kitchen, start it. Watching you work that position, start it. Putting in work is a mission, start it. Just a little bit of work and it's hitting, yeah. Stirring up the arms on mine, a wingman but I love those styles. Thick grits, no shrimp on the side. Got no measure for the mix, I'ma whip that, right. Why the boy gon' lie?
And he has a picture of me on the cover, so you know. Nah, it's not actually a picture of me. It's a picture of him that looks like me. So he might have doctored that one up just to.
I mean, the height is roughly about the same. So
The actual album, not even the picture. Just
not even the picture, the album, the case that the CD comes in.
Yo.
My boy, look up to the edge of the CD case when you sit next to it.
Man, while he's down.
Like, how do I open this damn thing?
The roast session has begun. Now, I'm gonna let y'all slide with that one. Moving right along, getting into Ty's games to gather, we have Cyberpunk 2077. This game is about what, Ty?
So pretty much it's like a post-futuristic setting where corporations have pretty much just taken over the world.
Reeves. That's it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, the game is just Keanu Reeves. Like, literally just Keanu Reeves. You know, that's the whole game. But no, this game has been in development since 2012. Like, this game was initially supposed to come out on the PS4 and the Xbox One because back in that time, that was considered next-gen. You know, and now we're in PS5 and the Xbox Series X, and it's now just releasing. Which I never fault the developer for taking their time on a game. I think if you need to make a game perfect, you need to make a game perfect, you know? I'd rather have a game that's perfect than a game that's buggy as hell. And it's fantastic, honestly. So you can create your character. You go into this world being female, male, whatever you want to be. It's got some really detailed customizations to it, to the fact that you can customize your genitalia in the game. Yeah, you can customize your wiener in the game.
Wow. About details.
So those details, you can go into real big detail with it, but you pretty much I'm not going to give too many spoilers for the game, but yeah, you're pretty much just in this setting where corporations is in the future, set in 2077, and future companies have pretty much just taken over everything, and you're in one of the booming cities within this. This actually started off as like a tabletop RPG game, similar to like Dungeons and Dragons, Call of Cthulhu, and what is it? CD Projekt Red turned this into an actual full-fledged video game. But there are some problems with it right now. Nothing crazy. Just like some bugs. Right now, it is not looking that great on the PS4. Like the standard PS4 and the standard Xbox One. It is looking rough. There is some massive frame rate drops that happen. They had to actually dull down some of the light scenarios in the game because people were just getting seizures. Like within... Yeah, it was bad. So they just did put out a massive patch. I haven't played it since the massive patch hit yesterday. But yeah, I know on PC, if you got a really high-end PC, it runs like a dream. You have no problems whatsoever on a high-end PC. And there's some minor issues with the PS5 and the Series X versions of the game. But the PS4 and the Xbox One standalones are kind of having a rough time with it right now. But other than that, I mean, the bugs are kind of wonky, but the game is... It's legit. I wouldn't say it's like game of the year status, but it's definitely it's really, really good, you know, so I highly recommend it if you get a chance, especially now since most of those bugs are kind of kinked out, you know, so.
Well, bugs don't destroy the game then.
No, yeah, I mean, if you've ever played The Witcher 3, then The Witcher 3 had so many bugs, and to this day still has, like, 1,000 bugs, you know, I just recently beat The Witcher 3, like, for my 5th time on my high-end gaming PC, and I still have problems with that game, so, I mean...
I feel you. Infamous is the Infamous series is one of my favorite game series, and those are so buggy.
Oh yeah,
and they never got rid of them. That it's always buggy.
It's always buggy, and especially with games like as ambitious as this, because this was supposed to be a huge open world game, you know, set in 2077, with all these cool little things. You can create your own class. You have your own classes. You can design your bionic parts, because you can get like bionic abilities attached to your arms, or you can get a blade that comes out of your actual arm, and all these other crazy things. They really tried to go all out with it, and you could tell they had to cut a lot of things out from what they were talking about, you know, initially wanting to put into it. But other than that, it's bugs aside, the game is fantastic. I give it an A+.
So in the future, people are going to be having their weapons are going to come out of their skin, apparently.
Hey, I'm down with it.
Right? Like, what? Gun.
Just imagine trying to go through airport security. Like, you've got like a knife tucked inside your arm. You go into airport security. They're just waving the wand around you. It's like, why is your arm going off? I don't know, man. Like, you see, there's nothing on my arm. It's like, sir.
And what about? It's 2077. So what about masks? What about COVID? Is that in that? Do they wear masks in the game?
No. I think they've gotten rid of COVID at that point.
Yeah. Not on COVID 1,000.
If Keanu Reeves is like a AI inside your head, and you have like animatronic body parts, I think they've gotten rid of COVID at that point. I would hope so. I would hope so. God damn it.
No, the bubonic plague lasted quite a while.
Yeah, true, very true.
Well, moving right along, getting into some WB and HBO Max news. Matthew, give us the scoop on what's happening with Warner Brothers and HBO Max.
Yeah, so we reported on a few weeks ago that Wonder Woman was going to drop same day in theaters, that it was going to be dropping on HBO Max for no additional price. So December 25th, when Wonder Woman is in theaters, you can watch it at home in the comfort of your own home through HBO Max. The day after we recorded that episode, they dropped and they said, screw it, all movies in 2021 by Warner Brothers are going to be dropping same day theaters on HBO Max for no additional price.
Nice.
Now, I don't know business-wise, and I think I said the same thing about Wonder Woman. I don't know business-wise, how that's going to affect them financially, if they're going to be making that money back, if, the extra subscriptions is going to help them or it's going to hurt them, or what the thing is. But just loyalty to companies, I think this is a great move for Warner Brothers. I think people are going to, be looking at Warner Brothers as the one setting the way. I think that, there's not going to be any more $30 Mulans, dropping and making Disney look like chumps over there. I think people are really going to gravitate towards Warner Brothers, and if nothing else, appreciate them. And when theaters fully open back up, when things are back to normal, support more Warner Brothers movies than they did before.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Wonder Woman come out on Christmas Day.
Yeah,
Wonder
Woman, Mortal Kombat, King Kong.
Yeah.
It's gonna be the new Christmas movie. Screw Die Hard. It's gonna be Wonder Woman. Screw Die Hard. We're changing this. We're changing this now.
That's right.
Everybody grab your lassos. Let's go.
Tell me the truth. How much is it really gonna cost? Speaking of entertainment and entertaining things, recently I did the WWE Thunderdome virtual experience. So it's basically where you are an audience member, virtual audience member, for a live WWE show. And it was interesting, but it was pretty entertaining. The show itself, it wasn't their best show overall, but it did have some key spots, and I was hyped to just be a audience member for free So there was that. Now, and in the comfort of my own home, where I don't have to pay $75,000 for popcorn. They provided instructions, some of which were that you could not wear like any external logos. If you wore anything that had a logo on it, it would have to be WWE merchandise. You can't really put anything into the camera, so you can't be like all have your face all in the camera and stuff like that. Even though throughout the night I did see people doing that. I was doing that occasionally. It was just the hype of the moment. And the fact that it was on my phone, so I had to lean in a little bit sometimes to see. Hence the glasses. But
who's that? Who's that?
Right?
Right
there.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to recognize this person. I don't know. Looks like 8-bit WrestleFest right here. But yeah, nonetheless, overall pretty good experience. It was kind of a glimpse into Matthew's world, where I had somebody guiding, what I was going to do, when I was going to do it. They were like, all right, lots of energy now, lots of energy, on certain parts when people were coming out, making their entrances and stuff like that. And, they wanted you to give energy when you're booing somebody as well. Not everybody that they required the energy for was I a fan of, though. So some people, I did the opposite. Some people got boos and they're supposed to get cheers, but guess what?
I can just imagine a bunch of people in the back going, yeah, and then just hear in the distance, boo.
For some reason, the
just
boos
the one
always
boo.
ring louder. The boos always ring louder than the cheers for some reason. Maybe it's the bass.
You suck.
Yep, that was me. But then there's another thing.
Said that
right, and I didn't write. Like, I'll come out there and slap your screen right now.
I could just imagine whoever was wrestling just hop out of the ring and go to an iPad and be like, look here, mother. Like, don't make me give you a $280 screen replacement for Apple.
I'll put a virus.
Here's how you got to trick them, though. Is you got to boo, but you got to look like you're cheering. Boo!
Right.
I hate you. I hate you so much.
Okay. So here's the thing, right? So I was so hyped to be at a pay-per-view, 2016's Backlash, where AJ Styles beat Dean Ambrose, aka Jon Moxley, for the WWE Championship. Now, I was so hyped that while somebody was coming out, I was doing exactly that. I was cheering with my hands and body motions, but I was booing with my mouth. And I'm sure the people that were around me were like, okay, this guy doesn't have it quite figured out yet. We're going to give him a chance.
That's crazy. What is wrong with this guy?
I can't make up
his whole body language is contradicting what his mouth is saying right now.
And then you got to flip it, though. You got to be like, I love you.
Right.
I love you.
Oh man, I was just excited to see the person coming out. So I was like, "Oh, this is wow, this is crazy! I'm seeing this live. Wow!" I was clapping for myself, but booing the person. Now, but yeah, that's how the experience went. It was pretty good. The show could have been a little bit better of a show, but they had been on a pretty good run in terms of what their shows were up to that point. So, yeah. Speaking of shows, movies, things of the sort, Matthew, it is time for Matthew's movie picks. So what you got today?
Thanks to Warner Brothers, next year we'll actually be able to do some new movie picks instead of them all being old movies.
True. Oh, but this one you go way far back, huh?
Yeah, this one we're going way far back. Recently I watched, and by recently I mean last night, I watched 12 Angry Men. If you don't know what that movie's about, it is about a young person on trial for murder, and the whole movie takes place as the jury is deciding the verdict. One man thinks that he's innocent, the other 11 thinks that he's guilty, and it's about that one man convincing the other people whether he's guilty or innocent. It's almost like a bottle episode of a TV show. It all takes place in one location pretty much, except for like one or two scenes. And it's just really interesting. There's hardly any music. It came out in 1957. There has been several remakes, but yeah, if you guys haven't seen this, it's a great film study to figure out what you can do with just characters and not needing a lot of location, not needing a lot of music, not needing a lot of gimmicks, really.
Well, outside of the music thing, you know, I think that's a big thing because sometimes, like especially in scary movies, it helps, but sometimes it hurts too because it's like you're preparing the person before something happens. So you hear that little string coming up like, and you're like, oh, something bad's about to happen. And while that's can be cool, other times it's just like, yo, just let it happen. Jump scare them. Like you let them be, outside in tilling the soil or something like that. Gardening, and next thing you know, freaking heads chopped off in broad day. Everything doesn't have to be at nighttime. Like that would be a perfect way to take out the music. Sometimes putting the music in there, it kind of guides a person as to which way they should be thinking or feeling at the time. And sometimes that is good, but sometimes I don't feel like it's necessary. I feel like leave it up to the interpretation of the people. And with something like this, where it is an actual interpretation because it's somebody that's on trial, so it's perfect to really not have music and just let the people think, oh, okay, and it makes them feel like they're immersed. Without the music, it makes you feel like you're one of the people you're the 13th angry man.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and it's so interesting because nowadays, if you have an iPhone or a Android or whatever, anything with a camera on it, I mean, you could make this film completely by yourself. You just need 11 other men. Yeah, right. And you could do this movie. It would be really easy. You don't need music, you don't need sets, you don't need whatever. And so it just reminds a person that a great story doesn't have to have all this flair. If you want to be a filmmaker, go out and do it. Make the next 12 Angry Men.
A quick update on things is we have the whole Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul fight. Yeah, about that. Quick update. That is set.
I still think that's the craziest thing ever. Like,
yeah, I don't think you were here when we talked about that last. What is your opinion on this, Ty?
I'm not one to knock someone down because of some things that they want to try to accomplish. But if boxing is his thing, don't get me wrong. But hasn't Jake, technically his brother, the one been doing it longer than he has?
Yeah.
Well, he's been practicing longer, but as far as actually competing, they've been doing the same amount of time. Logan, got the headlining gigs where Jake's been undercard all this time, really. So, but Jake has a better record. Logan hasn't won anything yet.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just think Floyd Mayweather, out of everybody you want to go after first, you pick Floyd Mayweather?
Yeah.
He knocked out Conor McGregor almost. Like,
he would have if the referee didn't stop that.
I'm just saying, like, Conor McGregor's a tough guy. Like, I don't care what anybody says, he's a tough guy. Like, it was
just a different sport, and Conor is used to getting them out of there within a shorter amount of time.
Because they fight differently. It's a different type of. It was different for Conor McGregor, in that fight. But we're not talking about that. Anyways, but again, the Logan Paul situation, hey, if by all means I'll support him, if he wins. I'm not expecting him to win. Like, because you know how Floyd fights. Like, he'll just eat him up for, like, the first few rounds, and then just, you're done afterwards. Like, just go in on you. Like,
I don't expect him to win either, just because of Floyd Mayweather's skill. I mean, he's, arguably the greatest boxer in history. Like I said, Ali and stuff, but that's, a little bit different. But most people, because everybody that I know that's into boxing, I've been talking to about this, and I've heard every single person say that they think Logan Paul is going to win.
I mean, he's a huge underdog in this. He's a huge underdog.
Are they willing to put money on that?
Yeah,
I'm sure people would.
They're saying, he's got weight advantage. They're saying we haven't really seen him use the right arm. If he starts to throw that in, that's going to make a big difference. All these types of things is what I've been hearing. But, I don't know.
Hey, I'm willing to take any bets.
I will say though, if Logan Paul wins this fight, I'm immediately calling it rigged. I'm just saying, immediate. And it's not a knock to a knock to Logan. It's just I don't know. I think a lot of people are like favoring him to win this because his brother won the last fight. So I think a lot of people are like, oh, maybe the Paul brothers are pretty good. Like, so I don't know.
They had different coaches too.
Yeah, I don't know. For Floyd Mayweather to be your first like actual like, you don't want to go like a step down from Floyd Mayweather,
right?
Maybe take on Pacquiao or somebody else. Like you want to go straight for Floyd. That's like starting a video game and then just say, I'm going to go fight the main boss at the end
right now.
Like,
I don't even know how the game's supposed to
We all did that a few times.
I mean, I did, but I do it consistently. But
still, the difference is you get to put the controller down and your face is still the same.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not
Logan Paul
a broken nose.
Right. Ah, dang.
Actually, no. There was one time. So I get raged out really hard when playing Madden. Madden is the game. I will smash controllers over Madden, and I've been doing really good about it. And this was like maybe like 2 years ago. My wife had came in on me while I was playing Madden, and she's just sitting there watching me, and I'm getting my ass beat. And there's some crazy happens. Like I threw the football into the end zone, and then somehow this safety just comes flying and intercepts it and runs it back for a touchdown. I couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe that. So I took my controller, right? I took my PS4 controller, and I'm about to like smash it, right? And then instead of smashing, I just bite the shit out of it. And my wife sees me just biting my controller, and I had permanent teeth marks into the touchpad because I didn't want to smash the controller. Because I was trying to I can't break another $60 fucking controller because at that point in time, I had already spent like $300 in like 3 months on just controllers. So I ended up
squeegee controller.
I got one of the scuff ones. Those scuff ones are really good because you could throw them and bang in the they don't really get too much damage to them. But I've calmed down a lot. I've calmed down a lot since then. But Madden,
the tie is for Titan. I mean, the tie is for Tyson.
I will smash. And then there was one point where I went and I punched the already broken controller on the ground, and then the little PlayStation button in the center of the controller, it popped up and hit me in the fucking eye underneath the glasses, and then I got even more pissed and just was like, I'm not playing fucking PlayStation.
What you're saying is we need to get you to fight Logan Paul,
right?
just make you lose that Madden first, and then put them in the ring together.
Right, exactly.
Speaking of Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather, what about that possible undercard, T? You want to tell us about that?
Well, we have a potential undercard here because Jake Paul knocked out Nate Robinson, right? Yeah. And so he's riding high, and some people that didn't sit too well with some people. And so some people want to seek revenge against Jake Paul. And one of those people is somebody was highly unexpected. Claressa Shields said that she wants to smoke with Jake Paul. That's right. Women's boxing champion wants to fight with Jake Paul. Now, a few things we got to unpack this. So a few things.
But she's a beast. Let's just get that one out of the way first.
Oh, yeah.
Incredible boxer.
Oh yeah.
She makes her competitors look like amateurs. With that being said, though, this is also a guy. What's your opinion on male versus female boxing matches?
I don't see any difference in it. If you want to fight, you want to fight. I think if you're built to fight, you're built to fucking fight. I don't think it should be seen as too much of a difference, because it's one thing to say if you're like the size of Ronda Rousey, and then you're going to fight like somebody the size of Dwayne The Rock Johnson, yeah, there's a clear disadvantage there. You know, like
weight classes have always been a thing in boxing.
well, yeah, and so and that's
Yeah,
what I mean. You know, there's weight classes and stuff like that. So I would say if they're within like the same, you know, the same weight class, and they have like she obviously, you know, has the experience. She's not just like some scrub running into the ring.
Yeah.
You know, so I think, hey, go for it, man. Like, I think putting an ethical like background on it is kind of stupid in my opinion. But I mean, that's just my opinion.
Yeah. You know, so I used to compete in martial arts and Taekwondo specifically, and you know, in tournaments and stuff, it was always gender specific and everything.
Yeah.
But in training, you would fight whoever.
Yeah.
The thing that's a little bit different for boxing for me is in Taekwondo and sports Taekwondo Olympics, you have a chest protector on.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're punching somebody in the chest, you don't have anything hanging out that you might accidentally bump into that would be kind of awkward. Yeah, that's
if he uppercuts her chest, that might be an issue.
But I mean, I'm sure she's got an uppercut in the chest before. Like, I'm not. You know, she's a boxer, right?
Yeah, but it's also like this. Like, if you have two guys going against each other, it's just like Marcus Queensberry rules, just to not hit below the belt, and you have those same jewels. So, like, if that happens, it's like, ooh, I could understand how that feels. Let me back off of him, and my bad, whatever the case may be.
I'm sure if they like adjusted some rules for the situation, like kind of like they did with the like Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather fight, adjust some rules to make it a fair fight. Then I say by all means do that. But if they want to fight each other, I say let go at it, man.
I'm just saying, like, as a guy, would you feel uncomfortable?
Yeah,
would you not want to throw chest shots because potential awkwardness or whatever? Would there be some kind of barrier there because of that? Again, not talking about skills or anything, because honestly, I think she could beat Jake Paul. I think she could really.
She has a chance. That's
I'm just
true.
saying, like, yeah, because like of an awkwardness of different anatomy, would you feel weird boxing somebody?
I feel like that is kind of wild. I don't agree that there should be male versus female fights. Like you said, in training, that happens. It does. But that is usually to make each other better, give each other different looks, whatever the case may be. Now, if they were just training together, that'd be one thing, because Ronda Rousey has sure beat up her fair share of men in training for her fight. Now, but nonetheless, there's other factors at play. One of them being the physical aspects, and then or differences. But it also being that yes, they can be the same weight, but that doesn't mean they're going to be the same strength. You can have a woman that's weighs the same as me, but she's not gonna be benching the same that I'm benching, without some work, without some serious work. And that would have to come over a long period of time, not just 12 weeks of training, So things like that make the difference. So boxing wise, I feel like she'll tag him up. I feel like she'll give him a different look, and I feel like he might be a little scared to throw, and she might be counting on that. But if he turns into wife beater Jake, then things can go downhill really quick.
I can agree with you with the psychological aspect of it too. Like you guys were mentioning, like she could totally just abuse that, to a power. It's like, oh, I know he's going to be afraid to punch me in the nipple, so I'm just going to go ham on him and stick my chest out and see if he hits.
That's what it is to me. Is that psychological thing of like,
I could understand. I could understand that. Yeah.
So we got some information on Spider-Man 3, baby.
So excited for this movie. You have no idea.
So we've got a guy playing Goku from Dragon Ball Evolution.
Christ, I'm leaving.
All right. We're starting off on the wrong foot.
Hey, don't you ever bring up that horrible disgrace of a movie.
David Frank back as the Green Ranger. Pretty sure Atticus Finch from To Kill a Mockingbird's going to be in there. He's his lawyer.
Benedict Cumberbatch is coming back to play Sherlock.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be trippy.
He's gonna have a dual. He's gonna be a dual character. He's gonna be Doctor Strange and Sherlock in this movie. Didn't you hear?
Speaking of coming back, Arnold Schwarzenegger is going to be in it.
Yeah. He's gonna come
Yeah,
back as
yeah.
a Terminator. It's like gonna be an insane movie.
But no, really, what they're doing is they're kind of making Spider-Man 3 from everything that we've been hearing a bit more like Captain America: Civil War, where they're going to have a whole lot of various characters from out the different franchises and everything in it. It's going to play more like an Avengers movie than it is just like a Spider-Man movie. We talked about a while back that there were rumors of the Spider-Verse, that maybe we would see Andrew Garfield, maybe we would see Tobey Maguire. Well, our friends over at the Illuminati, follow them on Facebook, Twitter, and all these things. Illuminati has confirmed that we will be seeing Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, Kristen Dunst, and Emma Stone back in the movie. We would assume that means that they're playing the Spider-Man characters, but you never know. We do know Doctor Strange is going to be in it, which could allude to Multiverse of Madness continuation type of thing. We know that Jamie Foxx's Electro is going to be back. Now we know that Dr. Octopus from Spider-Man 2 is going to be back. We're seeing this, and we also talked about this one back in last year, the possibility of Daredevil being in it. Yep. It's looking like more and more that's confirmed. I mean, there hasn't been an exact confirmation of it, but it's looking very, very promising at this point.
And I saw that somebody had posted a photo of Tobey Maguire actually going to the dress rehearsal for Spider-Man 3. Like they saw him getting out of his car and heading to the dress rehearsal. So, do you think that possibly with Emma Stone coming in here, we might be getting Spider-Gwen in this possibly? And then I even saw on Twitter there was I don't remember the account who posted it, but somebody posted a casting for Miles Morales as well.
Miles,
which is weird because if you think about it, like in Spider-Man: Homecoming, when we saw Donald Glover's character, he alluded to him being Miles Morales' uncle in that movie. So we kind of got the hint as soon as he gave out his name. Most people were smart enough to figure, that's Miles' uncle. But his nephew Miles is I think in Homecoming was 5 or 6 years old, somewhere around that. He was very young.
Yeah, he said, I can't make it to your birthday, but he didn't, I don't think, specified what age, but he would indicate that it was pretty young.
Yeah, he was pretty young, so he wouldn't have been within the teenage years, I don't think anyways, the later teenage years to become Miles Morales. So unless if we're getting a separate Miles iteration.
Did you read the original Miles Morales comic books?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's 13.
Yeah, he's okay. I thought he was 14 or 15.
He was 13 when he became Spider-Man. He was 12 when he was bitten by the spider.
Okay, I got you.
So he's significantly younger. But in the Ultimate Comics, Peter was only supposed to be 16 at that time.
Yeah.
So there was only a little bit of an age difference. Obviously, in more recent iterations, they've made the age difference bigger, then they made it smaller, then they've kind of bounced it around.
Well, fellas,
but
I wanted to let y'all know that they've officially cast me to play Miles Morales.
Hey, you look about the age range, so
and that's it.
Shave the beard, I promise you'll look like a buff 12-year-old. I've never seen pecs that big on a 12-year-old in my life. But I think I'm just very curious on how this movie is going to be playing out because the more days that pass, the more characters seem to get added to this movie. So I'm very curious because spoiler warning for Far From Home, real quick. Anybody have y'all two seen Far From Home?
Yes.
No, you haven't seen Far From Home?
I haven't seen any of the new Spider-Man movies. Of course I have.
I was about to say we're about to throw hands right now. I might get my ass whooped, but we're still gonna throw hands.
No, right now you're good. Go ahead. You got it. That virtual ass whooping.
Right. I'd somehow get knocked out by that.
Yeah, no, but with the ending of Spider-Man Far From Home, I guess like you said, about to say, a bit of a spoiler for that is they indicated that his identity has been revealed and that he might be having to go on trial for the murder of Mysterio. And so, the movie's already going to be kind of packed with that storyline. Allegedly, that's why Daredevil's going to come back and he's going to play his lawyer and and all this. So the movie's already going to be kind of packed when you start adding in, possibly 12-year-old, possibly older Miles Morales, the multiverse, all of these other things into it. Are we going to see a Spider-Man 3, Amazing Spider-Man 2 kind of overstuffed thing with the movie? That's the question.
With so many people, it's kind of hard to get off what their angle is. And it's supposed to be, I mean, it was really hard prior to Avengers. I think Avengers did it the best with having so many people and then being able to kind of get into, you have the main three or so, but then branch out here and there into different people's stories and then show how they intertwine.
And the Fantastic Four might be in this movie too. I didn't mention that earlier. Yeah, that's probably going to be a post-credit scene, though. It's probably going to be a post-credit scene. But they announced that they are doing a Fantastic Four movie, and it is being directed by John Watts, the guy who's been directing the Spider-Man movies. So that's why they believe they're going to drop them in this one.
And I think Spider-Man's supposed to make an appearance in that. That's going to be Spider-Man's last MCU appearance, I think, is Fantastic Four.
Which would make sense. They've always had a very tight connection.
How tight? Let's give it up to the Wi-Fi connection. Boo! Boo!